check, 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need, get over the fear, and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show, and welcome to podcast episode 312. Yesterday, I had an interesting question asked of me, and I thought I'd make a podcast out of it. Someone who's wanting to get in the investment business asked me this simple question: what should they do? Which is a huge question, right? Naturally, before anybody could answer that question, we'd have to ask ourselves this question ourselves. What kind of investor do we want to be? Do we want to be a passive investor? So do we want to own rentals, manage property, and earn money on a monthly basis forever, have the tenant make our mortgage payment indirectly, naturally? And then over so many years, then all of a sudden we have free and clear houses and we have an income stream then. Or do we want to be a massive investor and buy and sell properties, not with the intention of holding on to them? So different ways we can buy and sell properties. We can assign contracts in some states. Some states you can't. Now, I know in California, you're limited to 8 a year. So after that, it's a violation of Bureau of Real Estate. So we want to confirm that we're not breaking any laws. We can wholesale, which is basically buying a piece of property and selling that piece of property at a reduced price to somebody that's going to do something with it and resell it or keep it as passive income. You can wholesale it, which is similar to wholesaling, except instead of selling it at a discount, you're selling it 100% of as-is value. And then you can fix and flip, which is basically buying something at a reduced sales price, fixing it up, turning it into something more than it was when you bought it, and then reselling that for the maximum profit available. So both fix and flip and wholesaling get you the most money possible. Now, there are arguments on whether it's better to fix and flip and make the profit based upon taking it from as is to ARV, or should you just sell it at as is and do more of them? Because I can tell you from experience, when you're doing a fix and flip and going to Home Depot every day or every other day or on the weekends and painting and doing this and doing that, and you're going to the dump and all this stuff you do as a fix and flipper, it takes your time away, so you don't have as much time to go out there and buy more houses and resell them, which is why I like the wholesale model. But let's assume for a second you wanted to be someone that was a massive income earner. So instead of passive, you're going to be massive. So then we get back to the original question: Mike, what would you do? What should I do? And quite frankly, we have to ask ourselves another question. Why do I want to do this? What's in it for me? What am I trying to get out of it? Am I trying to get a notch on the bedpost? Am I trying to pay a bill off? If I'm looking for retirement money, am I looking for vacation money? It just seems interesting to me. What is it about buying houses for profit that excites me? And then if I can come to the conclusion that it's more than just whimsical, more than just, passing fancy, then I would set some goals. What do I want to accomplish? What would work for me? How hard do I want to work? How many hours can I put towards this? If I can do 40 hours a week, that's different than if I can only do 10 hours a week. Can I do weekends only, or can I do weekdays and weekends, they're different. Once I set my goals and I knew my direction, how many houses I want to buy, how much money I wanted to make, then I can have a game plan. So let's go back to that original question, Mike, what would you do? First thing we've got to do, folks, is get a dedicated telephone number for our business. At least one. So we do not want to be using our cell phone for business or cell phone number. And we certainly can't rely only on our home phone. So I would highly suggest that you go out there and find a service, Skype, Ring Central, Call Text, someone out there who will allow you to use basically a computer phone that will ring to your cell phone. So when it rings, you know that call is coming through your business phone number. And so you can answer it appropriately. So let's assume for a second you're having lunch and you're right in the middle of, eating that hot dog and French fries. And what I call the money line is ringing. Well, I'm going to stop eating and I'm going to answer the phone. Hello, this is Michael Quarles with I Buy Houses. How may I help you? Because I want to be prepared. So having a dedicated phone number that I know when it rings what it's for, kind of thing, will allow me to answer it appropriately rather than not answering it because I'm eating my hot dog and my French fries, or two, and say you're being unprofessional because you can't make the first impression twice. And I always want to make a positive impression. So I'm going to get a dedicated phone number, have that ring to my cell phone. So basically I have 2 phone numbers on my cell phone. I'm not going to, in the old days, prior to having some of this stuff, I would have preached getting 2 cell phones. I wouldn't do that today. The second thing is I want you to go down someplace and get some business cards. Now, I know red and yellow business cards where you go red block, yellow block, red block, work the best. I buy houses, phone number, put your name if you want. I know those work the best, but we need two types. We need the red business cards that are what we call the marketing card. And then we need the professional looking one. You know what they look like. If you go to the doctor or you go to your accountant or what have you. Their type of business, they're white paper and they professional. You don't need to have this pretty, this fancy logo. Don't spend money on logos at this point. Logos are important, but not in the beginning of your career. So you're going to have two sets of business cards. You're going to hand out one to the seller and you're going to hand out one to people that you do business with. Your escrow officer, your closing company, your title insurance company, your home inspectors, your agents, your lenders, those kinds of things. Which brings me back to the telephone. When you get that Skype number, you're going to get two of them. Or you get that Ring Central number, you're going to get two of them so you know what's going on. Pretty simple stuff, guys. Then I want you to go down and get some polo shirts. Go to an embroidery person or I would do silk screen. I would do the stitching, the embroidery. For about 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks, you can get a polo shirt. I know red works well. I would say I buy houses on the front breast pocket of it. I wouldn't put my name. I wouldn't put my business name. I don't care about that kind of stuff right at the very moment. When you meet someone for the first time, you looking professional and being professional is important. We know what professional people look like. If you go to your doctor and he came out in flip-flops and shorts and a tank top, probably wouldn't be professional. But he comes out in this white, overcoat kind of thing. Yeah, it looks professional. You go to your attorney if he's in shorts. I've seen my attorney in shorts. It wasn't professional looking. He's in a suit or she's in a suit, that kind of stuff. For people that invest in homes, Levi's khakis, polo shirt, perfect. Now, if you have a day job and you have to wear your suit during the day, that's fine too. You don't have to change clothes. If your khakis, can't wear Levi's, you have to wear khakis, fine, do that. Maybe you have a day job where you have to wear their shirt, so you can't wear your shirt. I'd have my shirt in my car. If I'm going over to an appointment to buy a house, I'm going to flip shirts. Just who I am. Next thing I want you to do is Google, grab the phone book, whatever you need to do. I want you to start visiting some title companies. There's 4 people in a title escrow company that I want you to introduce yourself to. The first person is going to be the sales manager, not the title manager, the sales manager of the escrow company. And that person's responsible for bringing in the sales to the organization. So they're friendlier than the title manager. Not that the title manager is not friendly. They're just friendlier. I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to say something like this. Hi, my name is Michael Quarles. I'm looking to interview an additional title company, closing company, escrow company in our area. And I wanted to come in and introduce myself. Can you refer me to a sales rep? He or she is going to say, great, yes, absolutely. They want your business. Now, if I walked up to the sales manager and I said, hi, my name is Michael Quarles. I have no clue what I'm doing. Never done it before. Probably won't ever do it anyway. I'm going to waste a lot of your time, but can I waste your time? Can you give me someone to waste their time too? They're going to say no. So with the way you introduce yourself, you have a power conversation, you're in control. They're going to introduce you to a sales rep. Now that sales rep's pretty important. They're going to help you succeed in the beginning of your career because one of the questions you're going to ask them is, can you introduce me to your customer service department so I can get my CMAs, I can get my farms if I need anything like that. I can call somebody up if I'm out with a seller and they think their house might be in foreclosure. I can call someone and say, hey, is there any notices filed against the property indicating foreclosures, NOD trustee sale, mispendings, that kind of thing. So I want that relationship. Then I'm also going to ask them to introduce me to a couple, at least 2, escrow agents or escrow officers. And the reason I want at least 2, because I know even though that they're not independent employees, so they're not subcontractors of the escrow company, they tend to do things differently. So where one may do a simultaneous concurrent close, do subject to seller financing installment sales, the other one won't. And so I'm going to introduce myself to them. I'm going to ask them a series of questions. We go over the 10 questions in the coaching program we have that we want to ask the closing agent to make sure that they're the ones we want. And we're going to pick one. We're not going to dilly-dally around. We're going to pick one. We're going to get their business cards, a stack of them. We're going to give them our business card, our professional one. And the reason we do that is because when I go out there and buy a house and get it under contract, I'm going to meet my seller down there tomorrow and open up closing or open up the escrow. I'm going to sign the memorandum of contract that's recordable. That allows me to record. And I'm going to make it real for the seller. I mean, until that point, it's not so real for them. Yes, they signed an agreement to sell me their house, but that's as real as it gets until they get to meet somebody else. And I want to be able to tell them, I deal with Mary Jane over at XYZ Escrow Title Company. You may know them. I'm going to be able to use the reputation of that closing company now, even though I don't have any experience with them, because these closing companies, there's not a lot of them. There's not a lot of title companies in a city. And most likely because you're dealing with a seller that went through a title closing escrow thing in the past. That's how they got their property. Chances are they may remember it. You may have picked the one that they did business with. Likelihood of that happening is considerable. The other thing you're going to need this sales rep to help you with is I want them to give you a short list, 5 of realtors that deal with investors like yourself. Investor sellers. It's important that we find the people that want to do business with us, that understand what we do, that understand that we buy houses that are trashy, that we buy houses that are junky, that we solve problems, we buy them at a discount. Yes, and we're going to put them on the multiple listing service and sell them fast. Yes, we're going to need them to help us with service providers. So I want a short list of five agents, and I'm going to go through a series of questions that we lay out for the agents to make sure that we pick the right one, because we don't want to pick the wrong one. Be horrible. But once I have the right one, then I'm going to ask the right one. I'm going to start talking about the part of town. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for the first time. So, I'd be doing this if someone put me in Chicago, I'd be doing the same thing. What part of town would you, if you were an investor, and tell me why you would do that? Would you invest in? What's the price points? Give me the variety of price points. Give me the variety of days on market. Tell me about CMAs. Do you have a team of people that I can get a CMA? How about a BPO? CMA, comparative market analysis. BPO, broker's price opinion. They're similar and different. The BPO is better than the CMA, but a CMA is good, not as good as the BPO. The big difference is the CMA, they're not going to go out to the property, take pictures, as physically smell and touch and taste and all that kind of good stuff of the property. Where the BPO, they are. They're actually going to go interview the property. How's access to the MLS work? I'm not necessarily going to ask them if I can get access, but how's it work? They throw it out there that I can have it, I'll get it. Great. How about those expired listings? An expired listing is a contract that was listed in the MLS for a period of time and it didn't sell and that contract expired. Its period of contract is elapsed. It's no longer on the market. And the multiple listing services, they tell the agents every day on a hot sheet, these properties expired. I'd love to get that list, especially if I was brand new. Can I get that list? Once I started finding out about the area, I wouldn't only use their information, but I'd like to know their information. We're building relationships. It's important to talk to people, but I'm not going to use it exclusively to make my determination of where I'm going to market or not. What I'm going to do is if I have a huge city, like I have 50 zip codes, I'm probably going to use a generalized area that maybe they talked a lot about. And I'm going to run my algorithms on that area. If it's a small city, like in Bakersfield, we have like a dozen zip codes or so. I'll do all 12 of them and, it'll take me 5 hours to do it. But, I can do this stuff at 11 o'clock at night. No big deal. I'm going to run an algorithm. And some of the numbers I'm going to pull back to myself so I can run the algorithm. Because I want to know median prices. I want to know how many units there are in a zip code. I want to know days on market. I want to know how many units have an equity position of 30% or more. The top third, the middle third, and the bottom third of that. I want to know how many NODs or list pendings we have. I want to know a lot of that stuff. Trustee sales, that kind of stuff. I'm going to compile all those. I'm going to run an algorithm, which is what we help you guys with in the coaching programs. It's pretty vital so that we don't spend our time and our resource in the wrong area. So that'd be hard. The things that we do a lot to ourselves is we think, therefore we must know. No, it's not true. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true or that's the best approach. Let's have some science behind our thought process and the decisions that we make, so we run an algorithm. But getting back to that real estate professional, some of the things I want from them, besides the expireds and MLS and BPO, CMA, that kind of stuff, is I want a quick list of their service providers. I want to know who they know and who they use for like roof certs, home inspections, because I'm going to get a home inspection. I'm probably going to get a roof certification. Handyman, who do they use for boarding up? And if that real estate professional isn't willing to give me that information, they're not the one I'm going to hire. Because it's not that I'm going to steal something from them. I'm going to put people that they know to work, which is going to actually benefit them. Because I'm going to brag to the home inspector that Susie Smith from C21 referred me. And there's a script that we go through in the coaching program so that we know how to introduce ourselves for the maximum impact. It's important. Conversations are important. Done right. Done wrong, horrible.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters. At yellowletters.com, get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to buy some houses because I'm going to do this stuff the right way. I'm going to keep an eye out as I'm traveling around, as I'm going place to place to place, introducing myself and meeting folks. I'm going to keep my eye out for the I buy houses bandit signs. We buy houses, I buy houses, those kinds of things. I'm going to write down some phone numbers, take some pictures. It's pretty simple. iPhone, I like my iPhone. Click, got a picture, and now I have a phone number. So on my off hours, like 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night, I can call those folks and can start networking with them. Now, I'm not going to buy any houses from them. I'm not going to sell any houses to them, probably. But they know things I don't know. Like, who do they use for title? Did I pick the right title escrow company? Maybe I'm still looking for one. That'll be a great benefit for them to lead me in the right direction. Is there a local RIA? Now, not that I'm going to buy or sell any properties from those folks at the local RIA, but I'm going to start networking. I want the service providers, all the magic of a city and all the folks that help investors. I want to get to know the people that know them. And I'm going to introduce myself as a professional. I'm going to wear my I Buy Houses polo shirt. I'm going to have my business cards. And I'm going to start talking real estate, because the more things I say about real estate to people, and the more language or how my language converts from how I speak today to how I will speak tomorrow as it applies to talking real estate, a seller's going to hear that. So if yesterday I was a baseball player, maybe I was a pitcher, man, I could talk baseball all day long, but it wouldn't really help a seller unless they were, a baseball fan or something, a little groupie. And so I want to learn that same kind of talk about real estate. So when I talk to a seller, I can have that vocabulary that I didn't have, because the seller's going to pick up on it. And remember, people like leaders. They don't like followers. Sellers want to follow somebody. So if you're a follower, they're not going to follow you because you're not a leader. You're just going around in a circle. So become a leader, and you become a leader by being professional, and become professional by how you act, what you wear, what you say, being prompt, those kinds of things. But I'm going to get that short list of the folks, and I'm going to start going to the RIA, and then some magic's going to start happening. I've set myself up to succeed. And this is probably only like day 3. It's no big deal. I'm just doing it. I am a real estate investor, whether I've bought a house or not, because my mind frame tells me I am. But magic's going to happen on these next steps. I'm going to go to Zillow Trulia, and they have a great little search engine in there. You can search a city. You've got the zip codes. You run your algorithm. You know where you're going to be. You've talked to people. You know where you're going to invest. And now I'm going to start looking for houses that are on the market in there from FSBOs, for sale by owners and agents, and get this, folks, for rent by owners. So I'm going to start calling on people that have a house for rent and people that have a house for sale. Now, I'm not going to buy the house for sale from an agent, but that listing is important to me because I need to go out there and do what we call a 6-pack. I need to physically see what the agents are selling within a home. So when I buy a home, I now know what it needs to look like in the ARV and what it looks like in the as is, and I need to see that spread, what that difference is. But I also need to see the amenities, what the sellers are giving to the buyer. And as an example of that, in a real estate listing, the seller is giving to the buyer a real estate professional. Even though the buyer thinks the seller's paying for it, that cost is included in the sales price. And you may have concessions. You may have lender concessions, 4%. The seller's willing to help the buyer get that loan. They may have a minimum amount of work that they're going to do to bring it up to market standards. I need to know this. And the only way I can know this is to physically go out there and see it. And then what I also want to see and look for is if I go into a seller's house and it has Formica countertops and all the other houses in that area, in that direct area, not far away, but in that direct area, they're all granite. Well, I need to put a number to that granite. However, if mine has granite and those other ones have Formica, I'm not going to put a large number because someone has overbuilt the neighborhood. But I need to know these things. And the only way I can know those things is to jump on Zillow, make some appointments with agents, get in the house, And on those FSBOs, those for rent by owners and those for sale by owners, I'm going to go out there and look at a house. I'm going to practice being me. What a great thing. I mean, I know most for sale by owners, the reason they're selling themselves is because they're looking for a real estate professional to hire. I know that only 8% of them are going to sell it themselves. They're going to find 92% of them are going to find a real estate professional. But great, there's 8% that are going to sell it themselves. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to use my presentation, which I'll teach you in the coaching program, and see if I have a house I can sell and buy. I'm going to give them a business card. I'm going to leave that business card if it's a open house, I'm going to leave it in the kitchen. I'm going to leave it in the bathroom. Those are the two places people look. And who's looking for houses to buy? So if you go, Mr. and Mrs. New Couple, they're wanting to sell their house, buy a new one. What do they have? They have a house to sell. So they're going to see your business card. Maybe they'll call you. Maybe they'll grab that business card off the counter in the bathroom and call you. Say, hey, I saw your business card over on a house, blah, blah, blah. So you buy houses? Yes, sir, I do. Did you have a house you were hoping to sell? And go out there and buy a house. So I'm going to start going to these open houses. Those for rents, I'm going to ask that owner that for rent, does she want to be a seller? Does she want to be a buyer? Does she want to be a lender? That person's magic. And they're advertising for us to call them. It's pretty cool stuff. I am going to go down on a weekly basis and I'm going to sit in on the unlawful detainer hearings. An unlawful detainer is basically someone being evicted. They're not paying their rent. They won't move out. The owner of the property is taking them to court to force them to move. They're stressed, the owner of that property, because now they have a vacant, non-performing property that's going to be vacant, most likely going to be in some trouble from an appearance perspective. Here's my business card. Have you thought about selling this property? I buy properties like yours all the time. Yes, I have. So you did have a house you're hoping to sell. Terrific. And then I'm going to go through my spiel. But that's a hot lead. It's someone that is in danger right now. I can help. Maybe they don't want to sell. Maybe they want to buy more. So you don't want to sell this one. Well, terrific. Have you thought about buying additional properties for your portfolio? You are outstanding. Create relationship. There's your buyer. Maybe for the first property you're going to buy, you already have your buyer. You don't have to even put it on the MLS because you spend some time at the unlawful detainer hearings finding buyers. And if you never want to list a property in the MLS, I always do, but if you don't, make sure on a weekly basis you're going down to the auctions where they sell foreclosed houses. Those are all cash buyers. Those are all people that want to buy a house for cash. Go down there every time with the intentions of networking, getting business cards from folks that have cash, that are looking for houses to buy. Code violations. Just like unlawful detainers, I'm going to go down to the building department. I'm going to find the building department, the office that has the code violations. I'm going to see if I can look at the list. And I'm going to find that seller because going way back up to the customer service rep for the closing company or the escrow company and that customer service portal, I can now get CMAs. So I can call them and I can say, hey, can I get access or can I get the owner's information for 123 Apple Street? So access to like a data set that's online, or can I get the owner's address? Let's face it, if it's a code violation, I don't have anything else to do. I'm a real estate investor, so I'm going to do everything I can do to be successful. So maybe I have to drive over to the guy's house where he lives, or the gal's house where she lives, knock on the door, knock, 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 knock. Hi, my name is Michael Quarles. Well, I buy houses. I noticed you had a property at 123 Apple Street that has a code violation. And was wondering, did you have a house? Were you thinking about selling it? Yes, you were. We're great. So you have a house you're hoping to sell. Oh, no, we're not going to sell that one, but we have this other one over here. Oh, you do? Terrific. No, we're not going to sell that. We're actually looking for houses ourselves. Oh, you're looking for houses yourself. Outstanding. Guys and gals, this stuff works. But the one thing I'm always going to do, nothing's going to get in my way. 9 to 11 every day, Monday through Friday, I am going to cold call. Everything that I see, my center of influence, people that I know, people I just met, all my service providers I'm getting to know, I'm going to cold call them. I'm going to say, hey, buddy, Mr. Buddy Plumber, I met you last week. Just calling to see if you happen to know anybody looking to sell a house. Oh, you don't? Terrific. Great. Call you back next week kind of thing in a month. But I'm also going to cold call. So I'm going to call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're going to answer the phone. They're going to say, hello. And I'm going to say, hello, this is Michael Quarles with I Buy Houses. We're looking for 3 and 4 bedroom homes in your neighborhood. And I was just wondering, who do you know that's planning on moving? Click. No one. F off. You're stupid. Go get a job. We are. I'll take any of those because I know the people that get mad at me that just gets me one step closer to the person that wants to sell. So I'm okay with it. Well, Mike, how do you find the phone numbers? Well, you can do it randomly, but I don't like random as much anymore. So I'm going to get a car magazine, a junk magazine. I've got a 57 Chevy pickup, rusted out tailgate, and I'm trying to get $500 for it. There's a correlation between people who are selling an automobile and people who eventually will sell a house. So I'm going to call that person who has that car for sale. And I'm not going to say, hey, I noticed you have a 57 Chevy. I'm going to say, hey, Mike, Quarles with I Buy Houses. We're looking for 3 and 4 bedroom homes. And if they did have a house they were wanting to sell, they'd say, we are. But they want to answer the phone because they paid to put an ad in a periodical, a magazine, a flyer, whatever. Look in the newspaper for garage sales. Call those folks. Open houses. Estate sales. What's an estate sale? Means, well, we had someone die, unfortunately, and we're selling all their crap. Wonder if that house is for sale. Interesting. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But at the same time, I'm going to meet a bunch of people. I'm going to go through business cards like, man, when I get through the end of the box, I will have at least bought a house. And I know every time I buy a house, I'm going to make a bucket load of money. So in comparison to how much those business cards cost me and how much I'm going to make, I'm going to buy all the business cards I can. People, just do this stuff. Get going. Get yourself a coach. I can tell you what, until the 20th of February, I think it's the 15th. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Coaching program's only $797 for 6 months. Oh my gosh. Learn how to do this. We'll walk you through every step of the way. Every step. We'll teach you how to do it ethically, morally, and legally in that order. I hope this helped. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.